Ford did report, however, a 17% rise in August auto sales, and Chrysler says it saw a 15% decline due to low inventory. How will GM measure up? We're waiting for those numbers shortly. In the meantime, we're joined by Erich Merkle. He is an industry analyst and president of Auto Economy, joining us now from Grand Rapids, Michigan, with his reaction and forecast. Did I get your firm right, Erich? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Auto Economy.
Auto Economy. I wasn't sure if it was a typo, and I apologize. Anyway,
no, it's okay.
So characterize the industry for me. I suppose the story right now is, where do we go post-clunkers? It was such a resounding success.
Well, it was a very big success, but I think we'll see some pullback, of course, in September, and I'm not going to, say that we likely won't drop underneath a 10 million unit SAAR for the month in September. Part of that will be because the clunker program is pulled away, and part of it's going to be because inventories are just so low. However, I do see some real improvements in the economy. Many different leading indicators: the Chicago Federal Reserve National Activity Index, the ISM Manufacturing Index, which just came out today. So I do think that cash for clunkers is going to be able to hand the baton off to a fundamentally stronger economy as we move into the fourth quarter and certainly into next year. So in my mind, this is good news, even though September will probably have a little skip.
The automakers had different strategies with regard to inventory, and it seemed that Ford hit the nail on the head, or maybe, just according to Anwil, who we spoke with earlier, got lucky. Ford also, I should note, said that their inventory levels should be exactly where they want them to be in only 3 weeks from now. What is your take on the inventory? I know you said it's low, but did the strategy work out, and do you expect a rebuild from here?
Well, I do. I think that we're going to have a significant rebuild. Many of the automakers are behind the 8 ball. It's not just Chrysler and GM and Ford, but it's also Toyota and Honda that are having to open up their update and increase their production schedules for the remainder of the year. The other thing I think that is really encouraging here is when you look at Ford, and I always like to look at pickup trucks as kind of a overall indicator as to the health of the market, because pickup trucks don't really benefit as much from cash for clunkers as the compact car segment and as the small crossover segment had. But Ford's pickup truck sales were up, and I just have to look here, we're up 13%. And 13% is a nice, healthy year-over-year gain for pickups, and we haven't seen that before. The correlation there is new home construction, which is also heading up in rebounding. It's also pulling pickups with it.
And Erich, we're getting Nissan's U.S. sales down 2.9% in August on an unadjusted basis. Your reaction there? And what's the story with the foreign automakers versus the domestic? Is the domestic, are GM and Ford making up some ground here?
Well, I don't know, if you start taking a look at Chrysler and GM, I think that their market share still has further to fall. Chrysler has some product issues going over at least the next 18 months.
I'm going to interrupt you, Erich, because here's General Motors. August U.S. total vehicle sales down 20%. What were you looking for? Where does that measure up?
Wow. Yes, that isn't really a good number considering the Cash for Clunkers program. I know the year-over-year increases are still going to be hard to come by, but 20% down, even in the face of Cash for Clunkers, the incentive, that is not good. General Motors' market share, as I was just saying, will likely drop further along with Chrysler's. However, when you look at Ford, and Ford being up 21%, Ford is taking some significant market share, and they have been doing that for the last 4 months, and I think we'll continue to see Ford's market share expand
Another headline, Erich,
at the expense of others.
GM, sorry I keep interrupting, but I want to get this information across. GM sees its North American fourth quarter production at 655,000 vehicles, down also 20%. That's got to hurt as well.
Yes, there's no question that hurts. But if you look at on the other side of the street, you've got Ford, which is actually ramping up production. So that would be indicative of the shifting market share between GM and Ford. The others, and again, you said Nissan. Nissan was about flat, or down about 2%, I believe, as the news just came over the wires. So we're actually seeing, the Japanese automakers have been losing some market share as well. But the real standout story, I think, and we'll have to pay close attention to it, is Hyundai Kia, because Hyundai Kia is gaining substantial market share out there in the marketplace right now. Sales are doing very well for Hyundai Kia, and I think Hyundai Kia is going to give everyone something to look over their shoulder, a reason to look over their shoulder.
Erich Merkle, thank you so much for your perspective.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.